Time to shine today, podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I just had a super leveled up, high energy, absolutely just kick ass conversation with another coach that I call my sister from another Mista, because we're both the same kind of coach. And it seems like we went to the same coaching school, or we coach a lot of the same kind of clients, people that we're kind of no frills. We don't accept excuses. We make adjustments, and those are the kind of clients that we love to coach. And I got to pick the brain of the great Pat Honiotes. And the knowledge nuggets she dropped about being authentic, about her strong connection, about being okay to be an odd duck, and that everybody has a right, a birthright to dignity and respect, and how people lose that over time. And she gives us awesome knowledge nuggets on how to circle back and really take your life back. So if somebody that is maybe struggling with being authentic, please share this with them. Or if you like it, please like, subscribe. My sponsors and affiliates absolutely love it. So without further ado, sit back, relax, break out your notebooks, because here comes my really good friend, transformational coach, Pat Honiotes. Let's level up. Time to shine today, podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I have a treat coming to you today, introduced to me by my good friend M Squared, Mark Mawhinney, that said, you have to talk to my good friend, Pat Honiotes. And I was like, okay. So we had a conversation, and I think we booked out maybe 15, 20 minutes. So we ended up talking for almost an hour, because we were both coaches. We both care about pouring into people. And we didn't stop talking. And I wish I would have recorded it, because she dropped so many knowledge nuggets for me to level up my game during that conversation, that I'm going to have to ask her again so I can make sure I get the notes down. And I want you guys out there to really break out your notebooks and kind of sit back and relax, because my good friend, Pat Honiotes, she's a transformational coach for leaders who are ready and willing to step into the richer, truly unique work that is waiting for them. She realizes in working with those leaders who march to the beat of a different drummer, who dismiss mediocrity as a way of life, rarely follow conventional rules, and stand out from the group. Her methodology, skills, and talents fully support her clients to utilize their own unique personalities and skills in ways that best suit them, while neither expecting nor pushing conformity. With their individual personalities at the forefront, Pat supports them to build their business, their lives, and their world, like Frankie would say, their way. And Pat, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. But first, what's your favorite color and
Oh,
why?
purple, purple, purple.
Look, and you're rocking it today too. I love it. Why purple?
It just makes me feel good. I feel like something's missing if I don't have it on or if it's not around me.
Right. And it's royal and it's regal, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
also, like, it's a mix between red and blue. So as coaches, a lot of times you have to have that blue cool side, right? But the red's got to come out when we got to
Yep.
really kind of push them into their
Yes.
uniqueness. So Pat,
Yes.
let's just go right to the roots. Like, where did you start? Like, where, again, I respect you immensely. The content that you put out is amazing. But where did you start? Because I know there's an educational background and stuff like that from what
I
we've
started
talked.
I started when I was 12 years old.
Right.
Okay. I had a and this is what we called it then, a severely mentally retarded sister. This was in the early 50s, and nobody wanted to work with him. So the teacher that was working with him at the YMCA, I started out as her teaching assistant.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And so it's been a matter of teaching and standing up for those people that are different. And I don't mean just mentally handicapped. Okay. The
Yeah.
ones that march to the beat of a different drummer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ended up teaching high school, special, integrated the school with those kids. Okay.
Right.
The counselors there didn't want to work with them. So I went and got my master's degree in counseling psych. And at the same time became a board certified medical hypnoanalyst, and never really counseled a handicapped kid, because I got going and went into other things. And
Okay.
so there, it's just been a ride. It has been a ride of, bottom line, we have a birthright of dignity and respect.
Mm.
Okay. And that's where all of this comes in. We can give it away, but it's our birthright. And so it's about holding that for people and getting them that it's their right.
Where do you think people lose their birthright? Meaning, in their own psyche, their own mind, what kind of pushes those people out of that birthright of dignity and respect?
Many times that happens when they're younger, and
Okay.
is just reinforced as a by the way they're treated, by the way they're
Yes.
dismissed,
Yes.
they're not heard, or it happens to everybody to a certain little bit.
Yeah.
But those, yeah, we can.
It's crazy you say that, and it's so true because a child, from what I've read, researched, is told no by the time they're 13 years old 135,000 times. So, I mean, we are born salesmen, are we not? It's like,
Oh,
you cry, mom gets you on the booby. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
Or, hey, you know what? You're going through the checkout line at a grocery store and there's candy and you're asking, you're told no so many times that it
Hmm.
just shoots that dignity and respect out. I mean, kind of, am I on the right path with you there?
Yeah, and I think there's more to it than that.
Yeah,
A
please.
lot of it too, Scott, isn't always that obvious. Sometimes it is so subtle. Hey, guess what, Mom? I got a B on my test today. And she goes, rolls her eyes and goes, yeah, and you're smart. You should get that.
Right.
So it can be something that subtle, Scott, that
Yes. Instead of saying that is amazing, do you think you're capable of be getting better? What I'm saying
exactly,
that's
exactly.
amazing. That it's too bad that that was what society's coming to. And I don't go political or religious on this at all, but
I don't
it is
either.
just like this whole world is kind of just pulling away from it. And there's a mad correction that I feel is on the way. And there's people like you and I, gratefully, here to help them, the people that want that help. So
Well, and see, here's
yeah,
the other thing. There's one more ingredient to that.
yeah,
It's especially true for those that march to the beat of a different drummer, that think differently, that
yes,
may have some skills that other people aren't really quite sure what that's all about, right?
right,
And they they get an even bigger nip in the confidence.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
go a little deeper on that. What do you mean by that?
All right. I've worked with a group of people I call the odd ducks.
Okay,
Okay.
love
And
it.
so
Yeah,
I've got a person in there that is all natural. She has her own cosmetic lotion company, national, and she gets all kind of stuff because, well, that's just fake. It doesn't mean anything.
right.
She added CBD to her store, and she was told that then she started pushing drugs, so she pulled that back. Now
Hmm.
I'm the type that I would say you need to get educated and it's staying in, but it's things like that. I've got another people that are particularly intuitive. Some some people that are just goofballs, and I
Yeah,
mean that in the best sense of the word.
right, right.
Or someone that is just, I wear hands full of rings
Love
and
that.
purple.
Yes.
And some people have a problem with that. I've been to a network meeting where a guy said to me, "Do you think you could get any more rings on?" I said, "Actually, I can wear two on every finger. Would you
Yes.
like me to wear them next time?"
I love that, Pat.
But see, not everybody is that mouthy.
Right.
Okay.
I and that's okay. That I'm the same way, right? Where I lived with this since 2009 with when I really kind of had to go through a correction of my own because I was a vulture. I preyed on other people's misfortunes, invested in real estate and in helped people, but not really helped people. But I learned something that unless I've hurt you, judged you, disrespect you, or owe you, I give zero what's about what you think about me. I just don't care. There's
Exactly.
nothing that you can do unless you mess with my family or frankly my money. There's nothing that you can do to me. So
Yes.
once I got that odd duck in me just flew.
Oh, yeah. It's, yep.
I love it.
I've actually had clients say to me, "You really don't give a damn,
Shit,
do you?"
you're
And
fine.
I
Yeah.
said, "No, I don't." And it's not that I don't, or no, you really don't care, is what they said. It's, "You're
Okay.
right, I don't."
Right.
Doesn't mean I don't care about you.
Right.
But and she said, "Well, can you teach me that?" And I went, "Well, we'll work on that." But
Yeah.
I've been that way since I was 5 years old.
Sure.
So I don't really know how to break it down and teach it except by modeling it.
Love it. So, are you a coach or a consultant? Or are you a coach consultant? Like me, I'm a coach. Like I consult nobody. If it has to do with real estate investing, because bought my first property in 1998, I can help you with that. I can kind of walk that. That's the way you want to build wealth if that's part of our coaching program. But like anything else, I believe everyone knows what they want. They just don't know how to talk themselves into it, right? And that's what people like you and I are there for. Yet that problem that resides in their heart, the answer is right there next to it, right? So are you more of a coach or a consultant?
I'm more of a coach.
Okay. Well, I figured as well. Yeah.
When it comes to specific things, I send them to somebody else.
Thank you. That's the best.
Even traditional business coaching, I call myself a transformational business coach. But if they get into business stuff, I don't know.
Right.
You're talking to the wrong person.
Right.
So I send them to a traditional business coach. Love them.
So what do you think then makes a great coach?
Wow. Okay. The ability to listen, and I mean really listen.
I love it.
The non-judgmental.
Yes.
Okay, and just give a damn. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Just give a damn.
Yes.
I get excited when someone will text me and or if we're on a talk like this, I'm jumping up and down in the chair. I mean, I'm not a cheerleader, but I care what they care about.
Oh, I love that. And so if you're maybe which we're going to kind of get to how people can contact you here in a little bit and have a discovery conversation. Is there any secret sauce that you might use, if you don't mind sharing, that maybe help them identify that blind spot that they have?
I just keep asking questions.
Love it. Yes.
And many times they'll discover it. That's part of my first session. But the other thing is sometimes they just need people to name it for them. So I can name it for them, but I back it up with proof by the things that they've said and the things that they've done.
You make them feel like they came up with it.
You got it. Right? Well, and they really have, because without them, I could come up with it.
You are my sister from another mister, man. I swear, because it's like you and I are right along the same lines with that. So let's say you're kind of still in that discovery conversation with them. Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you, but never do?
No, because in the discovery session, I'm discovering them.
Okay, perfect.
I'm discovering about them and together we're discovering each other and if we're a fit.
Right.
So maybe there is a question, but then I'll say, now what questions do you have for me?
Right.
That I'm the person for you.
Boom. Now, what makes you a great coach, or are you coached? Because there's a lot of coaches that I know that don't have a coach.
Hey, I tell my people, run.
Yes.
Do not walk.
Yes.
Away from a coach that isn't being coached.
Right. And I'm not saying this to my horn, but I literally spend 6 figures a year on coaching, and not just mindset. I do have my own mindset coach, but I also have an accountability coach that I have to send a journal to by 8 a.m. every day. I have a body coach. I'm 52 years old. I want to, unless God decides to take me in a car wreck or a plane crash, I plan to live a long time. I have different things. I don't mind pouring that money into them. One, I'm putting money out to God in the universe, but I'm also like taking what I internalize and pouring into people. So,
but here's the thing. It boils down to you taking care of yourself.
Yes. Right.
Hey, that's bottom line, dude.
That's what's called, dude. I love it. I love you. This is awesome. This is awesome. So what do you feel then, other than curiosity as being one of your superpowers, and actually listening? Because a lot of people, I can just see you not really listening only with your ears, but with your eyes. So you're looking for those eye twitches. Like, I call it listening with your neck, right? What strengths, like really leaning in, right? So what strengths do you really think you bring to the table outside of curiosity?
I'm intuitive as hell. I have a really strong connection with who I call dude in my guides.
Okay.
I get downloads. All right. That's a real gift when I'm working with someone. Okay. And there'll be sometimes I'll say to somebody, I don't know where the hell this is coming from, but here's what I'm hearing. Is that accurate?
Love it.
So there's that. the other thing that I think one of my gifts is I tell it like it is. Look at Scott. I don't have time to pussyfoot around.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's name it and let's get on with it.
Let's go.
Now, I'm not being rude. I'm just, but we're gonna stick there until we name it, until we get it.
I love that. I love it.
So
And,
if you
and
can't
it's
handle,
true.
yes, if you can't handle the straight talk, I'm not your coach.
Right. I'm the same way. And that's one of the reasons why I started Time to Shine. Well, the main reason was started this podcast is to pick the brain of people like you and level up my coaching business. But then I found out, hey, I have other coaches I can send to that aren't in the same way that I coach.
Yes.
Give them. I'm not the right horse for every course, right?
Yes.
So I love it. So
I have a coach. I send people to that is very soft spoken and loving. And I couldn't coach her. She couldn't coach me, but man,
yeah,
does she take care of my soft people?
Yes. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's being open and setting the ego to a side and say, hey, there's somebody else that's better at this kind of coaching than I am, and not try to be it. And you're doing a service to them. I love it. So, Pat, have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Yes.
Okay. Let's get in that.
Many years ago.
Yes, I know. Next year's be 40 years old. That's crazy, that movie.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, it came out in 85. So let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the 22-year-old, the double deuce, the 22-year-old Pat. Now, I don't want you to change anything that you did, but is there anything, knowledge nuggets, that you might drop on her to maybe help her shorten a learning curve or blast through maybe just a little bit quicker?
Yes. Stop holding back.
Give me an example where you might have held back.
A lot of people wouldn't believe that I ever held back. However, yeah, because I was in college at that point, and it was at 22, I already had 10 years experience teaching the mentally handicapped. I mean, I just did. And a lot of times there were things that the professors would stay in the classroom that I go, oh, honey, when was the last time you were in the, but I didn't say anything. I did. And I could have, I'm sure, interjected without being rude, but I held back. Okay. And I regret that to some extent because it impaired my learning, but it impaired everybody else's learning in the class as well, and the teacher's learning.
Right.
So it was kind of like a loss on all bases.
Got you.
And then
because
there's other
you held
times,
back?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing.
Wow, that everybody lost, Scott.
Yes.
Everybody lost.
A lot of times that'll happen. I tell people, lean into your authenticity a lot of times. Like, listen, people might not like it, but as long as you're not disrespecting them, they're going to listen. And there might be somebody in that room or somewhere that's going to be like, wait a minute, that's a damn good idea. Okay. Love it. So how about
the other thing is, I want to just say one more thing.
No, please.
Is my coach kicks my bum periodically because I hold back on my goofiness. You know what I mean? And he's that's part of who you are. You've got to get, and every time I just let fly, it's fine.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, I just think it's a funny one.
It ends up fine. A lot of times it just does. I mean, every time it does. I mean, I ask clients sometimes, like, what percentage of the worst days of your life have you survived?
Well, there you go.
And they're like 100. I'm like, then this too shall pass. It is going to. Let's just prepare and learn from that experience and lean into that. So how do you, Pat, want her dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date. Hopefully it's a long way down the line, but that little dash, how does Pat want her dash remembered?
How does Pat, what? I'm not following you.
How do you want your dash? You ever see a tombstone?
Yes.
Okay. Born in 1972, died in 2050. There's a little dash in between that. How do you want your dash remembered?
How do I want my dash remembered?
How do you want people to remember you? They're at your funeral. How do you want people to remember you? There's a lot that happens in that dash.
She laughed, she cared, she kicked butt.
That is enough said. I love that. So I think I might know the answer to this, but what do you think people misunderstand the most about you?
Wow. A lot of people misunderstand. I know that, but I don't.
I'll just say it, your uniqueness. They probably misinterpret that
You're
for
right.
somebody that's trying to be younger or trying to
Yeah.
be cool. And it's just like, F you, dude.
Scott, I
Yeah.
think you're right. I
You
think
know?
it is that.
Yeah, I can see it because you've brought it up a couple times about the rings and the guy that says it. It's like, dude, like lean into your own authenticity, buddy. This is me. If you don't like me, I haven't hurt you, judged you, disrespect you, or owe you. Who cares what you think? It's just like, no,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
can see that with you. How about it? What is Pat's definition of a life well lived?
Of a what?
Life well lived. Am I coming through okay?
Yes, I'm dealing with my own hearing loss a little
Oh,
bit.
no. I'm sorry, Pat. I just want to
No,
make
no,
sure.
no, we're
Because we
fine.
talked
We're
about the new
fine.
mic before. I just want to make sure you're hearing me
Oh,
okay.
got it. Got
Gotcha.
it. So what's the definition of a life well lived?
Yes. Your definition.
Showing up to what I was here to do and share and
Ooh.
give and having a good time doing it.
That's awesome. And you're doing it on a daily basis. And that's what matters. It's like if you can wake up, I mean, it's going to be work, but if you love what you do, you don't work a day. But I was also taught this by one of my coaches, like do what you love in the service of people that love what you do. Meaning like they'll know if you
Ooh,
don't love what you do. They
that's
will know it
good.
on the spot because if you're coaching them and they're like, yeah, I don't think that Scott likes doing this. They
Oh no,
know
I
that I love it
love
because
that.
I am so freaking curious, like yourself. And just I will keep asking until it comes. There's a fruition that will happen. It's like an acorn, like tens of thousands of acorns drop on the ground. One might grow into an oak tree because the gestation period of being watered, the sunlight, and it's like you feed it, you water it, things grow. So that I love that. Time to Shine Today podcast. Varsity Squad, we are back. And Pat, I promise we will meet one day and we'll probably talk over coffee or maybe even adult beverage or something a few of these questions at length. But today, you have 5 seconds to answer them. And I promise you, they can all be answered in that short of time.
All right, you got it. Let's do it.
Let's level up, Pat. All right, what is the best leveling up advice Pat's ever received?
Be who you are all the
Yes,
time.
I was going to say be yourself. I was almost going to like answer that for you. I love that. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
I listen to General Hospital every day for the last 40 years.
That is
it's
awesome.
my break. It's my break time.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about anything.
Yeah.
I don't have to dwell.
Yeah.
It's my,
It's mind candy. I mean,
Yes.
I even go back to Luke and Laura days. I get it, man. So
Oh, yeah.
I would have it up. I love it. It was because I was grounded a lot when I was a kid. So I'm like sitting there going, oh, what's going on in days? What's going on in General Hospital? It's like, what? I love it. So if you see me walking down the street or in an event, you're like, man, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums a little bit. Is there a book that really helps shape a lot in you that you might hand me and say, Fergie, read this?
Yeah. The Gap and the Gain.
The Gap in the Gain.
Have you
Love
read it?
Yeah, I actually, it's on my bookshelf that my coach wants me to read. Yes.
Yes. Frickin' read it, Scott.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. When you're in the doldrums or you just need in that liminal space, there's something to learn there.
Right.
And it really teaches you about that. And it's good stuff. Read it.
I will.
Listen
100%.
to your coach.
You got it. Love it. You hear that, Berta? I have to listen to you. Okay. So what's your most commonly used emoji when you text? If you use any at all.
A thumbs up with a celebration thing.
Love it. Love it. Nicknames growing up?
Patsy Joe.
Patsy Joe. I love it. So what age would you stay physically, with all the knowledge that you've garnered and still continue to gain wisdom? What age physically would you stay?
Physically?
Yeah.
30.
Me too. 100%. 30, between 30 and 32. I love it.
Yep.
So is there any hidden talents and or superpowers that you have that nobody knows about maybe until now?
I'm a Reiki master healer teacher.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
And I've done 3 one-woman shows. I love to sing.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Love it. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Monopoly.
Me too. Headline for your life.
I did it my way.
Yes. Love it. Buy into any superstitions?
I don't think so.
Me neither. I used to, but I got away from it. Love it. Go-to ice cream flavor.
Oh, butter pecan.
All right. So there's a sandwich called the Patsy Joe. Build that sandwich. What's on that sandwich for us?
Peanut butter on 1 slice of bread with 2 slices of lettuce in between and Miracle Whip on the other.
You can have that. I'm not indulgent. I've tried it, not a fan, but my dad loves it. So
Oh,
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, sorry, Pops. So you have a time machine. They could take you 20 years into the future or any time in your past that you can spend for one day. One day. Would you go ahead or to the past?
Oh, to the head. I mean, ahead. I already know
Okay.
about past.
Yeah, me too. Although there was this really good kegger, little beer bash back in 1989 that I definitely want to go back to that night. Love it. So favorite charity and or organization you like to give your time and or money to?
Helios. It's a group of singers based in Phoenix, Arizona that go back to the way early music.
Okay.
And they're bringing it back now. They're about 8 years old now. Okay. And it's a real beautiful music.
How do you spell it, Pat?
Helios.
And they're in Phoenix?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. I'm going to check into that. Love it. Last question, and we can elaborate on this one, but the best decade of music, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s.
You don't
So
even
you
have
love
to
your
say the
60s.
rest. I do.
What about the 60s?
They were just fun and free, and people were so critical, but the rest of us were having a good time.
Yeah, and there's stories in those songs.
Yeah, with big hair and
yes.
And yeah. Oh yeah.
Hippies but you had everybody back then. And
yes.
like I'm in 80s, I was born in 72, so 80s is kind of my jam. There's a lot of stuff that happened that decade of decadence. But when I'm actually listening or like when I re-listen to this and build my notes and stuff like that, I love the 60s and 70s because there's stories that's there. So let me take that one little step. So Beatles, Stones, Beach Boys, or the Four Seasons? If you had to pick one of those four. Beatles. Okay. Gotcha. I'm a Four Seasons guy with Frankie Valli. And it's funny with the Four Seasons, they had a #1 hit before the Beatles, during the Beatles, and after the Beatles. So, and like I see Frankie Valli, I haven't missed him except for the COVID year. Since I moved down here to Florida, the 11 years, I missed him that 1 year. But he's 80-something years old, almost 90. And he's still good. He doesn't sing all the songs. He has like a lot of people that mimic him and stuff, but he'll do his best songs,
Yeah.
You're too good to be true. and stuff.
Can't
but yeah,
take
it's a lot of fun.
eyes off of
That's
you.
right.
Yeah, I got it.
So, Pat, how can we find you, love?
For this group, I'm going to give you my direct.
Okay.
Email me, Pat Honiotes at gmail.com is one way.
Gotcha.
I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm on LinkedIn, and it's all under Pat Honiotes.
I love it. And squad, that is spelled HONIOTES. And it's just like if you say honey and then Otis. I love that. I love it. And I want to make sure that I do have this. Yep, I do have it in there. Beautiful. So tell us a little about what you're offering our squad here with regards to the boundaries.
I have to tell you, sometimes we just need a way to check ourselves. So we developed the boundaries checklist, and it's a list of 20 things that you can go, oh yeah, I do that. Oh man, I need some work on this. Okay. And it's a checklist.
Okay.
And I have people, especially we're in the middle or first starting working with me. It's a great place to start, by the way.
Okay.
I have them do it at least once a week.
Okay.
Because awareness always gives you choice. All right. So there's that part of it.
Love that.
So what we're going to do is anyone that wants a copy of that boundaries worksheet, there's a link there that you can hit. Here's the magical part of that link. When you hit the link and get your boundaries scorecard, there's also another link that you can hit that will give you access to my Calendly. And what that will do is give you 15 minutes with me for coaching around that boundary scorecard.
Ooh, that is very generous of you.
Oh, it's so
And I
much
know
fun.
how
I
you
love
are too. It won't be just 15 minutes. Sorry, but I know. I'm not saying that to take advantage of you, but I know that how much you care and you want this world and the people to be authentic and lean into that authentic
Yeah,
self.
for
I
sure.
love it. So also I'm thinking I was feeling a vibe of some badassery or something that might be on the horizon.
Scott, new program starting probably. We're putting finishing touches on it now.
Okay.
I'm looking at 2 or 3 weeks before we launch it. Business badassery.
Okay.
And when you start becoming aware and doing the things that we ask you to do in that program, like work on your boundaries, learn how to delegate, overcoming overwhelm, but most importantly, bringing all this inner stuff out that's impacting those things that you don't know about,
Yeah.
people begin to kick butt.
Love that.
I get excited about this. Can you believe it?
I don't know why. I mean, I love it. And Pat, my love, can you do me one last solid and the listeners one last solid and leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on?
I sound like a broken record and I don't care.
Good.
Please, please, please be you all the time in every situation. Let it fly.
I love it. And that is an awesome reminder that my good, awesome sauce friend, Pat Honiotes, laid on us. She laid on us so many knowledge nuggets, Squire. She's passionate about teaching and standing up for those that march to the beat of their own drum. She reminded us that we have a birthright of dignity and respect. And a lot of times that's really shot down in subtle ways by our parents or authority figures and people we look up to. Just be careful about what you're saying to the future people out there. That's all I can say is like just encourage them because they will pick up on those negative cues and it stops them from being their own odd duck self. You want the odd ducks out there. You want them out there charging. Pat is somebody that I respect immensely. And she, like I said, she listens with her neck. No judging. She gives a damn because curiosity is her superpower, Squad. And that's the people that I vibe well with. She's intuitive, a strong connection with her dudes or her guides that are out there. She wants you to stop holding back. Unless you've hurt somebody, judged somebody, owe somebody, who cares what they think about you, Squad? Just be yourself. She's somebody that is going to be remembered as someone who laughed, cared, and kicked butt because she showed up who she was authentically. She reminded us that awareness always gives you a choice. My friend Pat she's planting trees she's never going to sit in the shade of, right? She does things for the intention, not the attention. You don't see her out in social trying to get big or brag and all that shit, Scott. She really generally, she's giving you 15 minutes of her time to find that boundary. So please take advantage of it. Check the show notes. It is down there. And lastly, she reminded us, please, please, please be you all the time and in all situations because there is only one you. And I'm so glad that there is one Pat Honiotes. She levels up her health. She levels up her wealth. She's absolutely gorgeous, fun at heart. She's earned a varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. I cannot wait to collaborate with her in the future. Thank you again, Pat, for coming on. Again, I love your guts.
Thank you so much for having me, Scott. Thank you.
You're welcome. Chat soon.